that, but I saw you. The beads of sweat on your brow were evident as well, Jeff Green. Referees for today's match, we've got Romualdus Brazauskas from Lithuania and Ephraim Resser of Germany. Once again, the international flavor of refereeing. Neutral referees continue. And I've got to say it once again, I still find it curious that we're playing with 2 referees instead of the usual 3, which is normally the case under FIBA rules. And Kirk Penny, have a good one, mate.
Yeah, and of course, a lot of talk has been had about why they went to 2 referees, because a lot of games we've seen, Bob, in this last week would certainly highlight the fact that if we had 3 referees, you know, they'd be able to pick up the little sneaky elbows underneath. You know, after the guys have made shots on the 3-point line, a lot of them have been knocked to the ground after those shots, and a 3rd referee would pick up those type of incidents.
Yes, they would. Carlos Arroyo, one of the big scorers for the Puerto Ricans. Actually, the four players feature in the scoring, averaging in double figures for the Puerto Ricans, and they are Ayuso. Ayuso actually plays... No, sorry, it's Arroyo plays for the Denver Nuggets in the NBA. Ayuso Ortiz, he's the 39-year-old. Santiago, the 7-footer, and Arroyo. 4 players featuring in double figures for the Puerto Ricans. But I think New Zealand can counter that. They've got 4 players featuring in double figures as well. And I think what New Zealand has to do today, we've got to get the perimeter fire going earlier, and that's got to be Kirk Penny and Phil Jones stepping up and knocking down those threes. And then the guys down to the basement with the heavy tools. That's Cameron, Book, and Hickey have got to do the equally as well as they did yesterday against the Chinese. Now, they really had a big task shoving around the big Chinese, and we're getting ready for the Haka now. Let's just go quiet. Everybody in Indianapolis is talking about the Haka.
And of course, in the US here, they're just mesmerized by this, Bob, and you know, the cameras, look at them. The vein showing on Kirk Penny, that's a sign of a good Haka.
It's wonderful to see. I had a meal with family last night, and my nephews were all trying to get me to teach them to do the Haka. They love it.
Absolutely. Everyone in the US loves it. The law enforcement guys, they all went away from their posts to have a look at the Haka, and now they're all going back to their posts. It's absolutely amazing. But, Bob, the Puerto Ricans didn't want to see it. They looked away from it, and every team that's done that has lost.
Hey, there's an interesting little, call that a fact, a figure, a statistic. Jeff Green is nothing if not on the ball here. Okay, here we go. New Zealand, wake up, open your eyes, turn that telly on. It's time to go to the quarterfinal match. Puerto Rico going against the Tall Blacks. This is a big chance for us to move into the Final Four. It should be a very close contest. These teams, we believe, are very evenly matched. Puerto Rico, winners in the other section of 6. They've got a 5-1 one-loss record. The Kiwis are 3-3, finished last in their section. But I believe the Kiwis have played the tougher teams. For example, the United States,
Germany,
Argentina, Germany. Now, earlier this afternoon, we know the other 2 semifinalists. Argentina, after a bit of a struggle, blew away Brazil 78-67. Not quite a blowout, but they did get on top of them with that typical no compromising defense and ran away with it. And Germany struggled, but in the end, they beat Spain 70-62. So we know 2 of the semifinalists and 2 still to be determined. Over in Conseco Fieldhouse, United States is playing Yugoslavia. And one thing about that game, Jeff, Puerto Rico, when they beat Yugoslavia 85-83, I believe they awakened the sleeping giant called Yugoslavia, and they're playing so much better since Puerto Rico tipped them.
Gave them that embarrassment. I was at that game, Bob, and it was an absolute embarrassment to the Yugoslavian team. And so it's going to be a great game. They have awoken a sleeping giant. We're underway here, and first possession goes to Puerto Rico.
Kiwis come out on a man-to-man defense. Watch number 4, Ortiz. He's marked by Pero Cameron. He's a 39-year-old, but he's all class, this guy. Very, very good.
Turnover.
Yes, indeed. First call, first turnover. The Kiwi defense forces it. Man went baseline. There was nothing to do but bail out without a parachute, and he threw it back over halfway. Kirk Penny will inbound the ball for the Kiwis. Pero Cameron, a nice little nudge there. He just says, g'day. Ayuso, who ran past him there. Sparky Dickel.
Oh, they've left PC wide open. He gives it back to Sparky Dickel. Launches one. Big Daniel Santiago.
2.16 meters tall. It's a big tree. Ayuso, here's a guy who just loves to shoot the ball. Comes off picks, throws the ball in the air every chance he gets. At one stage, he was a leading scorer in the tournament. He's fallen away recently the last couple of games. Dickel over to Kirk Penny. Very patient early on here, as normally they are. No score yet. Pero Cameron into the paint, feeds Ed Book.
A little bit tentative there, Pero. I felt that he could have been able to take his man, Ortiz.
Spin and a little hook shot would have been just the thing. Ortiz gets the rebound and puts it back up and in. He shakes his head. I think he was looking for a foul as well. A foul before he got his hands on the ball. But anyway, it's Puerto Rico 2, New Zealand 0. 8:29 left in the first period. That's not meant to hurry the game along. I'm not counting down yet, just informing you. Pero from the three-point land. Doesn't go down. Book over the shoulder. Fortunately, didn't get a foul called on him.
But that was a good effort by Ed Book on the offensive glass, because that's what we need to do. And of course, Ortiz, he looks like a very young 39-year-old to me, Bob.
Indeed he does. Must be the weather down there. Puerto Rico spins, put up a jump shot. It doesn't go down, and on the other side of the board, 2 tall blacks going for the ball. The average per game offensively for the Puerto Ricans is 85. New Zealand scoring 82. Defensively, Puerto Ricans giving up 80 per game. New Zealand giving up 93. But if you take the United States score of 112 out of that, it's pretty much the same. Now, Ortiz been sucked into a foul by Pero Cameron once again.
And, of course, Pero lets out the big yell there, and the referee turned around and said, well, that must have been a foul.
Anytime you see an opposing center hit the deck and he's involved with Pero Cameron, you know there was a detour sign up and the guy didn't see it.
It wasn't in Puerto Rican, that's why, Bob.
That's right, Jeff. Ortiz now has met Pero Cameron. They'll become good mates.
Now, and that's exactly what I thought Pero should have done the first time down the court, because Ortiz, you know, he's 39 years old. He's slow. He should be at the Masters game with you and I next year.
Oh, it scares me to think about it, Jeff. Scores are locked, 2-all. Del Mao takes it to the hole and misses a sitter. Nice move. He got in, put up the left-hander, didn't drop. Dickel fakes it, brings it back outside, and the Kiwis will throw it around the perimeter. Ed Book has the ball knocked away by the big man, Santiago, who's 2.16 meters tall. That's 7 feet 1 inches, 125 kgs. Man, would he make a good halfback, eh?
I'll tell you what, he's built like the old outhouses of old, isn't he? There he is. Look at Santiago down.
Sparky Dickel just in there tickling his wrist. Knocked the ball away, and New Zealand bring it over halfway. Now we just watch. It's like a game of X's and O's on Tab's little whiteboard there, and Phil Jones launches one, goes up and over the backboard. He misses his first three-point attempt. Very slow. It's like two teams just feeling out each other, seeing where the weaknesses apply.
There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 assistant coaches on the Puerto Rican bench, and 4 of them were up yelling instructions just then.
I understand there's 6 psychologists, Jeff. One per player. That's why they only play 6 players. They've run out of psychologists.
This is a good start from the Kiwis, Bob. I really
Indeed.
like this because, like, yeah, even though it's only 2-all, it's been tentative. Hey, Georgie, you beauty! The Reefton kid, he's away. He is away.
Well, we felt the earth move down there in Murchison, Reefton area. A little bit of a tremor.
And one of the assistant coaches is arguing on the sideline with one of the players. I can't believe it.
Well, I know this is disastrous for the economy because every worker in New Zealand is pausing. They're sitting in front of a television. It's great. And never mind, we'll make it up next week.
And I know a lot of the schools in New Zealand now have got TV sets in the classrooms, and you know, it's great for the kids. This is great.
It's audio-visual learning, Jeff.
And of course, I've got a couple of guys to bring them play-by-play action, Bob, as we see it.
This is another lesson in teamwork, communication, and cooperation. 5-2, New Zealand by 3. 5:27 left in the first period. Inside it goes to Santiago. A nice little spin to the baseline. Phil Jones comes off from the top and picks his pocket. Now we got a call. The referee couldn't see what it was. The ball is wet.
Yep.
They're going to just towel it down.
I was going to say, because I thought he was after Phil there, the Lithuanian, and we've had this referee before, and he did a good job for us.
Now, here's an interesting thing. Why would they throw it to the New Zealand bench and use a New Zealand towel, Jeff?
Because it was Phil that was complaining about the ball, so they thought they'd get some magic towels out.
Right. Hometown towel.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, we've had a good rub. Here we go.
The magic towel on it.
New Zealand 5, Puerto Rico 2. Pero passes up the 3 and gives Sparky the chance. Doesn't drop. He's had 2 good looks. Neither one has dropped.
I don't like that by Pero Cameron. He's not aggressive like he normally is. That's normally a shot that Pero would take, and he's given up 2 of those already.
Look at Ed Book fighting, boxing off Santiago. He can't get to the hoop after he makes a shot. Pero with his 3.
He must have heard
high.
me.
Ed Book pulls it down. He's going to the hoop. He puts up the right-handed hook.
And he pulls in the foul on Santiago. Because Daniel Santiago gives up, well, at least Ed Book gives up at least 3 or 4 inches. And Santiago is not happy with that.
Phil Jones. That's it. So, with 4:46 left in the first period, Puerto Rico has taken a timeout. New Zealand lead 5-2. Interesting time, Jeff. It's really a struggle. It's a bit like a wrestling match here. New Zealand out to a 5-2 lead, but already we've played over 5 minutes in the first period, and it's such a low-scoring game. I think it shows you the tension both teams are under, and really I guess neither team wants to take too many risks straight away. They've been coached into a very conservative way to start the ball game. And that's probably a very, very useful thing to do. Neither team running too much. They don't want to play high-risk basketball. Puerto Rico respects New Zealand. They don't know what to expect, so they're just feeling them out. Whereas New Zealand, this is exactly the way Tab would love to play the game. Yeah, take the air out of the ball and walk it up.
You're totally correct, Bob. I think this is exactly the way Tab wants the team to go. I think just because we're right behind the Puerto Ricans at the moment in the commentary position, and every man and his dog is having a go in the timeout. They all look tense. The coaching staff are just so worried, and we've only had 5 minutes. So, it's an interesting. The other thing is, the Puerto Ricans have got a great crowd support here, but remember, the Turkish fans are on the New Zealand side. They've just said, we're going to support New Zealand from now on. So, we've got some great guys. And, of course, the Turkish TV commentators are right next to us. Have given us all Turkey shirts. So, wasn't that great? Now I'm looking for you, Bob, to go buy some Kiwi shirts to give to them.
Thank you very much, Jeff.
I've nominated you head of wardrobe.
Thank you very much. Well, that just shows you how cheaply we can be bought. 1 T-shirt from the Turkish, and we're right in behind them. We hope they get the bid in 2010 for the World Games. That's why they're here en masse, and they're just all around the place, showing the culture of Turkey. Back to the game. Early score from the other semifinal. Yugoslavia's jumped out to a 7-0 lead over the USA. And Pero, you beauty,
And of course, Pero Cameron heard before when I said that he's giving up 2 shots, so maybe he's decided that, you know, I better take some control here.
Ortiz forced high by Pero Cameron. I like to see that every time Ortiz has to come that high, it keeps him away from the bucket, which is where he really loves to play. The shot, nothing but air, and Pero gives it over to Sparky Dickel, and it's a fly to the Bumblebee, and he brings it up quickly, gives it over to Phil Jones.
You had the same thought
for
as
a
I
moment,
do.
yes, indeed. Ed Book looks at chapter 2, the hook shot, doesn't go down.
Yes, I thought Phil Jones was going to launch that from about 12 feet out.
Ayuso from the corner, and if he gets hot, he'll be just like Lee Nan was last night. Great little shooter.
And he's the guy we've got to watch, Bob. He's the guy that we've got to keep a real close eye on.
Elias Ayuso, he's the man with the white headband. Very quick little guard. Now, Puerto Rico love to run. They're a little bit like the United States team. They love playing with the ball at high speed, and New Zealand is making them walk. They don't like it. Ayuso goes in. It's got to be a charge. No. It's tagged against Pero Cameron.
And this is going to be interesting to see on the replay if we get one. Here we go. He took the basketball straight to the hole. Oh, I don't know about that, Bob. I've got to say, Pero was nice and still. He'd moved into position well before that. So maybe the referee saw something you and I didn't.
Pero was like a tree I planted 2 years ago. Hadn't moved an inch.
He's like those Cody that up north, nice and strong. The roots were set. You know, he even pitched a tent under there. He was there that long.
Well, we've done our best on that one. So back to the game. Ayuso makes the free throws. It's an 8-7 ball game. Now, this is an interesting move. Puerto Rico come out with a man-to-man, full court pressure here. Sparky Dickel's up to it over halfway. No pressure on him there. Well, there was pressure, but he was up to it. And Kirk Penny from the corner lights it up. No, he doesn't.
But once again, we had someone on the offensive board. You know, Phil Jones got a hand on that offensive board. That's good job. Down Bloody Nose Lane.
Who Rittner makes his first. And Puerto Rico are in the lead, 9-8. And suddenly the tempo has stepped up, and Puerto Rico running. They love this running game. If they can do this, New Zealand's in big trouble.
This is one of the reasons I've watched every one of their games this year, this week, Bob. I really love the running style, as you know, of the Puerto Ricans. They're up and down the court. But I believe that Tab and the New Zealanders, they will hold them up.
Hey, Philip Jones. He just broke a Puerto Rican run of 7 straight points, so it's now a 7-3 run. And that was a crucial shot, Jeff. We can't give up these 7, 9, 12, 15 runs against us.
Exactly, and of course, you know, Phil has slowed down the Puerto Rican effort there. They walked the ball up the court as slow as they could. Oh, Ed Book, good defense. Ed Book came across, the ball went into the post of Latimer. Ed Book came across. Here's Phil Jones.
Now that's one of the sweetest shots in international basketball.
A lefty is sweet to watch when he's on form, any lefty, and Phil Jones is a lefty and a great shooter.
That's right. We heard just before the game, this is a message to you folks back home, we heard that the New Zealand team has somewhere around 1,000 emails today, and that's great, but I want to know what's wrong with the other 3 million of you. Get on your computers. Fill the airwaves, come on. Hickey underneath, going up against Ortiz, and he's called for steps.
Now this is an interesting move because, you know, with Daniel Santiago out of the game and Ortiz is the only one in there, so, you know, they've got the 2 7-footers. They aren't running them in tandem. They started the game off with them, but they've only got the one of them there now.
Kiwis lead by 2, 11-9, 1:31 left in the first period. Ayuso driving against Dickel. They're going to call a foul on Sparky Dickel. Sparky like a barnacle on the hull of a ship there. He just fastened himself onto Ayuso. He's going to be subbed off. That's a good sub. Very, very tiring for a point guard to play nose-to-nose against the opposition. That means basically full court, you're running all the time. Paul Hinari into the game for the Kiwis.
And of course, Sparky Dickel, he's got so much energy. You just wonder where he gets it from sometimes. Big Pero Cameron secures the rebound. And you see, we've been able to do this against this team because we're evenly matched in height and speed and that sort of thing. We're able to control our defensive boards well, and we've been able to get in there for offensive boards. Here's Pero Cameron.
Oh, Pero had a nice little shot underneath. The ball is tapped out of bounds by Ortiz.
A bit too much English on there, on that ball. And what I mean by English, a bit too much spin on it. And there's Sean Marks. He didn't want to go back. Miami wanted him to go back to see a specialist, a team specialist. And he asked the team if he could stay with the Tall Blacks, and so the Miami Heat franchise let him stay with the Tall Blacks for now, because they really did want him back there, Bob, to check out that eye with their own physician.
Well, that shows just the dedication and the commitment he has to playing for the Tall Blacks. He loves it. He just loves it. 2 fouls on Ortiz, number 4. Now that's a very, very good sign. Jose Picolin Ortiz, 2.08 meters. That's 6 foot 10 inches tall. He's going to get a little time on the pine here. Hickey's on the line. What a great game he played against the Chinese.
Didn't he? And Rob said that was probably his best international performance that he can think of. He really did enjoy that, and I thought he relished the chance of beating up on the Yao Ming and company.
Oh, he did. Indeed he did. 46 seconds left in the first period. Long Tom shot, that is, from outside.
And there you go, another defensive rebound by the Kiwis.
That's good defense from the Kiwis. They forced Puerto Rico into very, very poor shot selection. Phil Jones, a spin-around jumper. Hey, Dylan Boucher. This kid was hyperactive in primary school.
Oh,
he must have been.
That was a lovely move by Phil Jones. Ball faked everyone, stepped through 2 defenders. Nice one off the glass.
And New Zealand, after a 7-0 run against them, have scored the last 7 points themselves, and it's a 14-9 ball game. Now Rob Hickey and Santiago out front. Rob's demonstrating just what Santiago was doing to him out there. The ref is not convinced.
No, he isn't. And of course, Big Pero's giving Rob a bit of advice on how to get away with those sort of things without the referee seeing.
Well, it's hard to get away with anything here. I just said 7 straight, and my statistician, Stephen G, sets me straight. 6-0 run. Puerto Rico come back into it. It's a 14-11 lead. Kiwis can't get off the last shot. Very low-scoring ball game. New Zealand looking very good here with a 14-11 lead. Jeff Green.
And of course, we just see there that Dylan Boucher goes.
This is the Apostle Killer, right?
Yeah.
If he gets hold of one of us, what's he gonna do? If I'm gonna die, I want to know how.
It's not gonna happen.
This is my life, mate, not yours.
He's gonna crucify you.
If your palate says yes, but your dentures say no, try Polydent. A fine film on your dentures will smooth the contours of your mouth, creating a more comfortable fit, keeping out those annoying bits of food. Polydent adhesive cream, perfect on any plate. Here, chill this.
Freeze or braise it? I'll get it.
Okay.
Jenny, hi. Oh, what's that yummy smell? This is great.
I love what you've done with the place. This lasagna's delicious. I did it in our new oven. Oh, is it a Westinghouse?
Yeah, it's brilliant.
You sure you don't want a hand with the dishes?
Oh, no.
We're fine. Thanks for a great evening. Oh, pleasure. We love having you guys over.
Yeah, good night. Good night. See you later.
Well, time ready to begin here in the second period of play. New Zealand with a 3-point lead, 14-11. And just to update you on the score from Conseco Fieldhouse, the U.S. and Yugoslavia are locked at 16 all. Now, that's an interesting game, Jeff.
Because that's interesting in that if the Kiwis win this one against Puerto Rico, we play the winner in the semi-final game, and that is going to be huge. Absolutely huge.
Indeed. A couple of highlights you see there from the first period of play. Pero Cameron has 5 points. Phil Jones has 8. The Tall Blacks take the court, looking for a semi-final place in the 2002 Basketball World Championships here in Indianapolis, Indiana, just in case you've forgotten. Santiago will be going against Rob Hickey. Hickey controls the tap, knocks it back to Paul Henry.
The tap dog gets the tap. Rob Hickey, tappy. Good stuff.
Boucher on the baseline. Hickey sets up. Aims, fires, doesn't go down. Here's a runaway. Santiago gets under the basket.
And that's what I like
shot
about this Puerto Rican team. You know, big Daniel Santiago can get out on the break. You know, his big man didn't go to the offensive board, so he decided to go out there. Well, they nice, easy basket.
They can sting you off the fast break. They love playing the fast game. Kirk Penny back in the game, and immediately he's fouled. Number 7, Carlos Arroyo, who plays for the Denver Nuggets, has done nothing so far in the first 10 minutes. Relatively small player. He's listed as 6'2", I don't believe it. Penny goes to the hoop, and Santiago spikes the ball into the court.
Yeah, Santiago thought he was playing volleyball then, the way he spiked that ball.
Now Arroyo showing ball skills out front. Paul Henry right with him. Delmo looking down below, and Rob Hickey's going to be tagged with a foul. That's 2 on the big man. Jeff, got to say it again, looking ahead, looking down the road here. Fouls against our big men could cause us heaps of problems in the 3rd and 4th quarters. But Tab knows that, and he's going to rotate them very well. You see Hickey going off now.
Exactly. He's brought Big Ed Book in, and, you know, we'll just, as long as the Puerto Ricans stay with Santiago and Ortiz by themselves, then we'll just be able to rotate our big men and hammer them to death. And, you know, just keep them nice and busy. But if they bring them both on at the same time, then we're going to have problems.
Well, Arroyo, the quick little guard from the Denver Nuggets, draws another foul from Paul Henry. Trying to pass underneath. Bit congested under there. And the big man, Mincy, number 8. Jerome Mincy, 37 years old, I believe, stands 2 meters tall. A lot of experience, but they also have some good young players in this team. The ball's knocked out of bounds by Mincy. So the Tall Blacks gain possession, and they still lead 14-13 by 1. 8:50 left in the 2nd period of play. Very, very low-scoring game. It's all about defense, and Mincy's called for pushing. Pero Cameron, hey, this is...
I've got to laugh, Bob, because every time an opposing big man gets tangled up with Pero, he gives out that big Haka shout, ah! And then the referees turn around, blow the whistle, and it goes against them.
It's like going down a highway and you see a Kenworth coming against a Big Mac. Amazing matchup, these two guys. Ed Book lights it up. Now that's from Chapter 3, jump shots.
Jump shots, Ed Book, and we know Ed Book can shoot the 3, and so that drew Daniel Santiago's attention.
Santiago, the ball inside.
Dylan Boucher for the
picks
steal.
His pocket. Has to hustle cross court. Good defensive energy from Dylan Boucher, the hyperactive kid.
And look, he not only got out for that jump shot, but he got back for the defensive rebound. That's the energy that Dylan can show.
Well, there's not.
Hey, Ed Book, that was lovely off the glass hook shot.
That's back to Chapter 2, hook shots.
Hook
Beautiful move by Ed Book, 19-13 lead.
And that was just pure magic from Ed Book. That was lovely. And he's shown some aggression here today.
Hey, this team believe in themselves. So much Mincy moving inside, and we got a pushing foul. It's going to be against number 10 or 11. No, that's 2 on Pero Cameron. Ouch. This hurts. Yeah. Underneath. Watch Ed Book. He goes right, comes back to the left.
Kissed
right
it off the glass beautifully. Kissed it off the glass beautifully. And of course, big PC, Pero Cameron, goes to the bench with 2 fouls. So we have to bring back Rob Hickey. So we're operating with the 2 big boys.
Well, it looks good right now. New Zealand leading by 6, but I'm a little concerned with the fouls on the big men. Mincy throws up a 3. It doesn't drop, and Kiwis putting all kinds of pressure on the shooters. Puerto Ricans, who've shot 48% in this tournament, not finding the range at all.
Oh, what a great box out. Now, I don't know what chapter that is in Ed Book's book of tricks, but that was a great defensive box out.
Well, in the book, that comes in the introduction. You start with boxing off, Jeff. Ayusu didn't make the layup, but Mincy gets the putback. Puerto Rico coming back at the Kiwis. It's a 19-15 lead. We got 7 minutes plus a couple of seconds to go in the first half. Great start from New Zealand. A real chess match here. Puerto Rico just not being allowed to play the game they want to play. They want to run with the ball, but they just can't do it. Cross-court pass. Kirk Penny takes it inside. No call.
Oh,
can't
no
believe
call.
it.
Not even a call, and yet he's given the ball to Puerto Rico. I've just learned a Puerto Rican word, Bob, that last play there. Defense from the team bench.
Wow. I've seen that written somewhere else, Jeff. I mean, my English textbook, basketball textbook. 6:31. Time ticking away. Inside, Santiago just muscles it up. Look at... Now we got a pushing foul against Santiago. Or is it Rob Hickey?
No. Yes, it is. It is against Santiago. He called out offense.
That's 2 on the big man. He's a key player in this team. He's the biggest man on the side.
Yep, and there it is.
See if we can see it here.
Yeah, he held off Paul Henardy with his elbow and then got the basket. So,
well, I'll believe
he leaned on his shoulder.
Every call becomes crucial here. Pardon us if we rave on about it a bit. Penny comes off the pick and lights it up.
With the big fella in his face, Santiago came off the switch there, tried to block the shot, and Kirk Penny had the presence of mind to complete the shot.
You just hear the coins rattling out of the the slot machine, Jeff.
Oh,
it's a wonderful sound, isn't it? Pennies
money.
From heaven.
Pennies from heaven with nothing but net money shot.
22-15, the Kiwis now with a 7-point lead. Second period of play. There's 5:55 left, and Boucher down there.
Dylan Boucher is giving Santiago just a major amount of trouble.
Wouldn't this guy be a great pickpocket, Jeff?
Oh.
Ayusu from the corner. Nice little fadeaway jump shot. Dickel trying to drive the lane on Arroyo. Arroyo very quick, stays not just with him, but in front of him, takes away the lane. Hickey on the free throw line has a good little shot if he just looked to the hoop. Back to Dickel it comes. Dickel comes off the pick. Going against Mincy. Hickey on the baseline. He's got it!
Rob Hickey, the shot clock was on 1. And Rob Hickey said, don't worry about it, Sparky. I'll bail you out. Give me the ball and I'll shoot it.
24-18. New Zealand staying in front by 6 points, 5 minutes. Ayusu misses from the corner that time, and the ball goes off Mincy. Dickel bringing it up quickly, always alert, looking for that break. 10 for 7 in this quarter. New Zealand outscoring Puerto Rico.
And I'll tell you what, Bob, this is normally the team that we've got on the floor right now with the 2 big guys operating and only the 1 recognised shooter in Kirk Penny is when we struggle. But big Rob Hickey said, enough of that. We've heard about the commentary. I'm going to show you guys that I can score. And that's what he's done.
Indeed, 4:56 left in the first half. New Zealand takes a timeout. They're leading by 6, 24-18. Now at the end of the first, just to update you, the end of the first period, United States and Yugoslavia, and a real slugging match. It's 20-all.
And with that scoreline, 20-all, that is a slugging match because the USA can come out and score some points on you, 20 points in about 2 or 3 minutes. Yugoslavia, we know, have got some NBA stars in Stojkovic and Vlade Divac. So, because neither of those 2 early in the tournament played well, but they have started to ignite the Yugoslavs in the last couple of games.
Well, it's like an NBA game over there. The U.S. NBA stars going against the Yugoslavian NBA stars. Hey, we see 84 games of those per year. This is World Championships. Couple of heavyweights slugging it out over at Conseco, but back here in the sort of roomy atmosphere of the RCA Dome.
It's just an incredible facility, isn't it? It's the home of the Indiana Colts that play in the NFL. And it's just 55,000 people, I think, at indoor stadium. It's just amazing. You just can't believe that many people would be here to watch football.
Well, they pack this place out when the Colts are playing. What they do is they pull a curtain about across the 50-meter line, and they play in virtually half the stadium, so the capacity is cut to about 33,500. We don't have anywhere near that today.
Yeah,
the fans.
We're in the US, Bob. It's the 50-yard line. I've watched a bit of football lately. It's the 50-yard line.
Point taken, Jeff. Point taken. We're ready to start again. 24-18. New Zealand looking good here. Team fouls on Puerto Rico is 4. New Zealand still have 1 to give away. They're on 3. A couple of highlights you see there. Phil Jones weaving his way to the basket.
We haven't seen Phil for a while, last few minutes.
No, he's still on the bench. Kirk Penny from the baseline. Oh, lovely floating one-hander on the baseline. He knocks it down.
And he just came straight off the pick and didn't even hesitate. Just got the ball straight in one motion and one hand laid it in. I think that was a layup from Kirk Penny rather than a jump shot. That was awesome.
Ortiz just took it to the hoop, and then he jumped away. A little fadeaway off the glass. Nice shot. That's big man basketball. Hickey was right with him. It's just a class shot. You give up those during the game. It's a 26-20 lead to New Zealand. 4:22 left in the first period of plays. Both teams sticking with man-to-man defenses. Ed Book gets the loose ball, turns, spots up to the basket. Dylan Hickey
kept that alive on the offensive glass, and of course, big tap dog, Rob Hickey, comes back and grabs it.
Hickey kicks it out. Dickel over to Kirk Penny. Penny working against Arroyo, has to knock it back outside. Ed Book gives it away. Dickel, oh, look at the hustle from him.
And the hustle in the corner there by Sparky Dickel. Mark Dickel hustles it. The opposition turn it over. Well, and that's the key for the New Zealanders, hasn't it been? When we've played good basketball, it's because we've got back on defense, just like the replay shows there. Sparky Dickel got his butt back on defense, and all of a sudden we get a turnover. Great stuff.
Well, that's hustle spelled determination.
Phil
Led
Jones
to a
back
turnover.
in.
Puerto Rico have 7 turnovers you just saw versus New Zealand's 4. That's the difference in the game right now. Defensive pressure from New Zealand, plus the fact that they've not let Puerto Rico run. The couple of times they have, Puerto Rico looks far more comfortable offensively. Hickey doesn't go down, but he chases his own rebound inside, and he sticks a big mid in there.
And that's 3 on Big Rob. That's his 3rd. And of course, Rob didn't need to do that. You know, just a rush of blood to the head there by Big Rob. He shot the ball, and it was a good shot, and he was too far away to get the offensive rebound, and just a rush of blood. But Tab's had a word with him. He'll settle down. He's got to leave Rob there because Big Piero's got 2, so we can't afford unless he brings Damon Rampton in.
It's a fatal mistake there. Probably wonder why we think one play is so important. Well, New Zealand have to rotate their big 3 players, Hickey, Book, and Pero Cameron, and they cannot afford to be down to 2 of them. Dickel almost created a double dribble there, but didn't. He throws up the 3 and redeems himself.
Redeems himself. And of course, I think he did get away with the double dribble there, Bob, I've got to say. But we'll take it, and Sparky with the 3.
Okay, New Zealand 29, lead Puerto Rico 20. Puerto Rico can't figure out the defense. They hate playing post-up basketball like this. New Zealand knock it away again. Great defensive effort from the Tall Blacks. Dickel with the ball. He going against Arroyo. Very quick player. I love watching the point guards. There's always something interesting going on. Dickel! I thought he's going to knock down a second one.
He's feeling it. He's feeling it, Spark. He's feeling it.
Ayuso, he's a little bit cold. He's made one of those.
He's gone stone cold.
He's made a couple. Not as consistent shooting-wise as he has been in other games. 29-20, the Kiwis with a chance to stretch that lead to 10, probably 11 here. Jones, nice move on Ortiz. Doesn't go down. A Rob Hickey contesting the ball now. Jones whacked Mincy. There was no call. That's a foolish foul.
Yeah, Phil's got to be careful because a lot of the referees look at Phil when he's in there trying to slap the ball away.
Oh, Mincy just knocked Hickey away from him. No call came, and Mincy put up the shot, had time to get his own putback. Well, that's good physical play from Puerto Rico. They've got to muscle up down underneath.
It is, but take your time, Big Rob. We don't want you to foul out this early in the game.
Ed Book, three-pointer. Doesn't go down.
Oh,
we got a foul. It's going to be on Rob Hickey. We talked about this.
Yeah, we just didn't need that, Rob, and Tab's going to have to bring in Damon Rampton now because Rob's just got his fourth foul, and we've still got 1:21 to go in the first half. And Tab is not a happy camper right there because, you know, I think Rob is a bit too wide at the moment, Bob. You know, he's got some grim determination on his face, but we've got to understand there's a long way to go in this game, and we don't need the Puerto Rican big men to go create havoc inside.
That hurts us. 1:21. New Zealand has taken a timeout. Tab Baldwin wants to talk things over. New Zealand clinging to a 7-point lead. It's a 29-22 ball game. The Puerto Ricans are trying to figure out what to do to counteract New Zealand's slow-down game. They can't get the ball out and run. New Zealand is rebounding just too well, too strongly on the defensive board. And Puerto Rico have been taken out of their offense, which is, hey, let's run this play. Let's get the ball up the court quickly and play with fluidity and rhythm.
It is exactly right, Bob. And, of course, you know, we saw the one fast breakaway by Daniel Santiago, the big fella. But apart from that, it's all been half-court stuff. And that's the only way to beat a fast-breaking team, as we know in New Zealand. Tab is one of the exponents of stopping a fast break. And he's done that extremely well against Puerto Rico. They don't have anything in the half-court. You know, there isn't the variety of offensive plays like the New Zealanders. The New Zealanders have a wide array of offensive plays to try and counter whatever the defense is throwing at them. In Puerto Rico, all they have is they get it to one of the guards, one of the great shooting guards. If he doesn't have it, dumps it down low, kicks it back out. Very boring, and it just shows that there's not the fluidity that's required on offense.
I think you're right, Jeff, and here's another good sign. New Zealand's really sharing the scoring around. Phil Jones has 8, Kirk Penny, Perro Cameron, and Ed Book all on 5 each. Now that's a good sign because no one yet, no individual, has stepped up and shot out the lights. That means it could come in period 3 or 4. Somebody's going to get hot for New Zealand. At the moment, everybody's contributing. The biggest worry is the foul count against some of the big guys. Perro Cameron on 2, Rob Hickey on 4, and Ed Book on 1. So he's our salvation at the moment. And a little bit messy, but Mincy knocks it down.
As I said before, that Damon Renton's now coming to the game to replace Rob Hickey. Like, you know, Damon's no mug. He is a great offensive rebounder. I just love his tenacious efforts on the offensive board. And I think that's what Tab will be looking for him to do.
Indeed, Puerto Rico control the ball on that missed shot. 1:19 left in the first half. New Zealand leading by 6. They gave up one of the 2 free throws there. Now they don't want Puerto Rico to score. 20 seconds on the shot clock, counting down. Drama unfolds. Dickel sticking with Arroyo. Into the paint, feeds out Mincy.
No, to Latimer. Latimer's just come into the game.
That was a good move from Puerto Rico. That was good basketball. Little fake. Kirk Penny. He's going to be fouled. And I think it was Antonio. No, it isn't Antonio Lattimore. It's number 7. No, it's not.
No,
let me just check this.
Number 5.
5.
Apodaca.
Apodaca into the game. He sneaked in there. We couldn't see him for just a moment. Rick Apodaca, 6'4" guard.
And look at the matchup here, Bob. This is an evenly matched, you know, height for height, guard for guard. This is a great matchup for New Zealand. Let's see if we can exploit this in the last minute of play.
It's good matchups all around, every position. That's what makes this game so interesting, and it's knockout time. Winner goes on. Loser plays for 6th, 7th, and 8th position.
Oh, that was just pure hard luck on the Kiwis' part. You know, both Phil Jones and Sparky Dickel got a hand on that rebound. And Arroyo comes in and gets the offensive board off both of them. So that was just pure unlucky. Here we go. The shot is made by Latimer. Nothing there. It goes straight over Sparky's head. And Arroyo gets in for the easy putback and the bonus one from the line.
Well, Dickel's on 2 fouls. He's immediately subbed off with 40 seconds left in the first half. Paul Hanari comes on. The reason for that is Tab Baldwin does not want his starting point guard to collect another foul. That would be disastrous. Good full court pressure coming from Puerto Rico, and it forces New Zealand into a turnover, and it's a 31-27 lead. Puerto Rico now have hastened, hustled, bustled, rattled the Kiwis somewhat. Now they've got possession. There's 27 seconds on the game clock. Hey, took it inside. Apodaca, he's injected a little energy.
He has immediate impact, that guy.
New Zealanders being hustled now. Well, we've got a strong coaching staff for the Puerto Ricans off the bench.
We've got a taste of our own medicine right there. The Puerto Ricans all of a sudden the last minute of the game just threw in a press at us, and we've panicked a little, but we've still got the lead.
We're looking for a three. Kirk Penny, Phil Jones come into the game, and Pero Cameron. Somebody's going to put up a three. 7 seconds. Pero gives it to Paul Hanari. Kicks it out. Pero Cameron, this is what we wanted. Doesn't go down, and Ed Book is pushed off the backboard. Hey, it's unbelievable. No. The referee says no, it doesn't count.
And all the 7 coaches are on the court. Look at them.
Unbelievable. We got to see this again.
Look at them all.
Oh, I think they're going to need a team of psychologists to work on these psychologists. They can't believe it.
Here we go. Arroyo threw it up. Clearly in the top left-hand corner, the shot clock had clearly expired. The correct call there, Bob. But the Kiwis go into half-time, 31-29 up.
Carlos Arroyo, that's a once-in-a-lifetime shot. So at the end of 2 periods of play, New Zealand leading Puerto Rico 31-29.
Dead silence. Nothing.
Don't you wish the mirror was clear? Well, now you don't have to put up with it any longer. New Clear Mirror Demisters eliminate fogged up mirrors forever. New Clear Mirror Demisters, for when you need to see what you're doing.
Your Olay UV moisturiser is now complete. Greater UV protection to block over 90% of the sun's damaging rays. Light Olay moisturisers to maintain a youthful radiance. And added vitamin E to keep skin supple and smooth. You'll love the skin you're in with new Olay Complete. We've changed, so you won't.
Back then for coughs, mothers relied on honey to soothe sore throats. Today, Robitussin have combined their proven cough medicine, dextromethorphan, with soothing honey. There's new Robitussin honey cough syrup and honey cough drops. Proven cough medicine with soothing honey.
Following the outstanding success of our first New Zealand cruise season,
P&O are proud to announce Pacific Sky will return in March and April 2003 for another series of South Pacific cruises. It's your chance to cruise directly from Auckland from just $1,674. Plus, your fare includes accommodation, main meals and entertainment. Now the holiday you've always wanted is on your doorstep. Call P&O Cruises or your travel agent today.
Has my attitude changed since I saw my first tiny line? No, only my makeup. Smooth Result Age Minimizing Makeup, new from Maybelline. It smooths away those first little lines that you can definitely live without. It's weightless, packed with moisture, all the right vitamins, and some serious sun protection. The result? A fresh, smooth, naturally glowing you. New Smooth Result Age Minimizing Makeup from Maybelline. Now that's smooth.
Maybe she's bored with aliens, Maybelline.
Alec was making a cup of tea when he lost his balance.
Next minute, I'm flat on the floor. I couldn't move. Couldn't even get near the phone.
This could happen to you, but wearing a St John Lifelink medical alarm, which is linked directly to our ambulance communication centre, means just one press of the button brings immediate help.
This little gadget makes me and my family feel safer.
Get your Windsor-proof St John Lifelink medical alarm. Call 0800 502323.
I'm Simon Cooper, and I've invented an easy way to restore wood. Underneath this paint is a sanded surface. Cooper strips the wood clean without damage. There's no need to scrape or sand. Cooper's transforms your home.
Well, after using heaps of other products, once shown how to use Cooper's, nothing else could come close.
Call 0800 678 678 and one of my experts will show you how.
You're with One Sport half-time at the RCA Dome in this World Championship quarter-final. New Zealand 31, Puerto Rico 29. And the New Zealanders probably welcoming the break because there were signs they were being knocked off their stride in the latter part of that second quarter. So the opening half finishing with the best shot you'll ever see that doesn't count, and for the first time at these championships, New Zealand has a half-time lead, 31-29. The Tall Blacks and Puerto Rico. Away to a slow start, it was 14-11 to the Tall Blacks. Now compare that with a 35-13 first quarter yesterday in the Chinese game. Now, Chris Tupu, it was like two heavyweights circling each other, just waiting for a break.
Yeah, real, you know, quarter-final kind of basketball. Low-scoring match so far, and I kind of like the way that the game's going. We've seen the Puerto Ricans like to get out and run, so I think we can see a bit more of a slow-down game for the New Zealanders, you know, heading into the second half. And I'm sure that tactically, he's gone with that big lineup with Ed Book and Rob Hickey. So look for a slower kind of a game, I think.
I think apart from the last part of the second quarter, you could say it's controlled and it's organised and it's patient.
Yeah, very controlled offence, and you know, we like this style of game. I think, you know, the more slow down we get in this type of, you know, scenario, we are looking good in this, at this stage.
Apart from the foul trouble?
Yeah, a few fouls there, and Perry picked up a couple there, and Jones, I think, has got a couple. So they're going to have to be careful. But these reinforcements that they're bringing in off the bench, we've seen Damon Rampton come in and have a few minutes there. We've just got to keep the productivity coming in. You know, those players that come in off the bench, they've got to come in and do something for the New Zealanders.
But the pattern seems to be, and I'm sure we'll see more of it in the second half, don't let the Puerto Ricans play that running game. Yeah,
you can see there's a lot of class in that side, and they kind of just want to get out and run, and there's times when they've started to get a bit of a run on, and the New Zealanders have come back and slowed the, you know, the game down a little bit and taken the air out of the basketball and sort of worked their offensive patterns, which is to our liking, I think.
All right, well, not long to go now before the second half. Just before we go to the break, let's have another look at that last second action before half-time, where the Puerto Ricans were really just having a shot from anywhere here just after the buzzer. But, Chris, what a killer this would be had it gone in, and the Puerto Ricans would have had a one-point lead.
Huge, yeah.
Well, not had it gone in, had it counted, had he got it off just before the buzzer.
Yeah, amazing. You know, it was a chest pass shot from the free throw line the other end. It's a long way.
It was a long way, but it didn't count. The Tall Blacks have really kept it together this afternoon. We can now hold our breath and hope that the hot and cold nature of their play that we've seen this week will stay hot through the second half. I can also tell you that the winners of the early quarterfinals were Argentina and Germany. New Zealand is 20 minutes of basketball away from joining them in the semi-finals. Stay with us. The dream is still on the go.
I'm Helen Green from World Vision. Here in southern Africa, children like Patricia here are in the grip of the worst famine for the last 20 years. The crops have failed and the last of the grain has gone. If you've ever thought about sponsoring a child, the time is now. Call 0800 80 2000 today. We urgently need 2,000 children sponsored by the end of September. We can do so much with your money, but without it, some of these children will die. These children need Kiwi sponsors today. Call 0800 80 2000. Time is running out. We urgently need Kiwi sponsors for 2,000 of these children before the end of September. Please, save lives by sponsoring a child today. Call World Vision 0800 80 2000.
Back then for coughs, mothers relied on honey to soothe sore throats. Today, Robitussin have combined their proven cough medicine, dextromethorphan, with soothing honey. There's new Robitussin honey cough syrup and honey cough drops. Proven cough medicine with soothing honey.
Don't you wish the mirror was clear? Well, now you don't have to put up with it any longer. Nuclear mirror demisters eliminate fogged up mirrors forever. Nuclear mirror demisters, for when you need to see what you're doing.
That was a great shot.
Changing your life could be as simple as changing your pain relief. Celebrex provides powerful 24-hour relief with less risk of stomach upsets. Switching to Celebrex could be a life-changing experience. Talk to your doctor about trying Celebrex for free. Call 0800 00 3366 or visit the Celebrex website.
This kitchen looks amazing thanks to the reflective beauty of graphic glass. Graphic glass produces colour-back glass in a range of modern colours and textures. It creates stunning walls, doors, bench tops and vanities. Graphic glass, experts in colour-back glass.
Spring into action at King's Plant Barn sale. Plant a lavender display, buy 5 for only $20 and save $9.95. King's potted colour and seedling punnets, all your favourites, just 99 cents each. Save $9.95 when you buy 5 bags of King's Organic Compost for only $20. And colourful fuchsias, 2 for only $5. Spring into action right now at King's.
It's the Tile Warehouse Streak In clearance. Terracotta tiles from $17 a square metre. Ceramic floor tiles from $15 a square metre. Wall tiles from $13.50 a square metre. Listellos from only $1 each. And much more. Streak in now before it all streaks out.
There we have the half-time score in this World Championship quarter-final. New Zealand 31, Puerto Rico 29. And New Zealand not allowing the Puerto Ricans to play their running game, but the New Zealanders in some foul trouble. 31-29. Let's just confirm the final scores from the 2 early quarterfinals at these World Championships. And you can see Germany going through, beating Spain 70-62 and winning the all-South American clash in the other quarterfinal. Argentina, and we've really seen already how good they can be, beating Brazil 78-67. So there we have it. Those are the results from the 2 quarterfinals played so far. Chris Tupu, when you look at those results, really it looks as though New Zealand's come through the hard part of the draw.
Yeah, I mean, being pulled there with Argentina, and they are really a class side. We saw them, they beat America yesterday. We did. We came through a tough pull, and I think we're having the benefits of that, and we're seeing it today against this Puerto Rican side. And
what we're seeing again is another impressive display from the Tall Blacks, and another example of Tab Baldwin almost outthinking the opposition.
They are the talk of the tournament over there. You know, Tab Baldwin, his tactics, the way he's put together this program, and the way the team is implementing his system, it's outstanding, and on the world stage, it's getting results.
And we're so close now to a semi-final place. How are you feeling? How are the nerves?
Well, I'll tell you after the second half. Yeah, look, I mean, what an opportunity to go into the medal round. And, you know, it's looking like we can do it, definitely.
Well, there's no reason to suspect we cannot, given the way things have gone in the first half. When New Zealand's playing well, you can see it in the strength of their defence.
Yeah, and their defence really ignites their offence. You know, that's where we can get these quick turnarounds from defence and get these open shots for the guys. And Jones, look, you know, you've seen some more class shooting from him in this first half.
Well, there we have the stats from the first half. Interesting one there. Points in the paint, 16-2 in favour of Puerto Rico.
Yeah, you know, there'd be a little bit more work for Ed Book and Rob Hickey in the second half to keep those big men from the Puerto Rican. Santiago, one player of note. So they're going to have to get a body on them and do a better job in the paint there.
Field goals pretty even, 11 out of 34 to 12 out of 34. 3-point attempts, 6 from 14, New Zealand 2 from 13, Puerto Rico.
Yeah, look, that's great shooting there from the New Zealanders, 6 for 14, almost 50% from the three-point line, and that's what we want. You know, we have got some very, very good three-point shooters. We need to get the knife in the second half.
And the really encouraging thing, I guess we can take from all the basketball we've seen over the last week or so, New Zealand plays well coming down the stretch.
Definitely, second half team. We've seen it in the past, and maybe they can come out and fire like they did in the second half against China.
As we're now looking at the top plays from the first half, there's Pero Cameron. Let's go back to our One Sport commentators in Indianapolis, Bob Montai and Jeff Green.
Well, thanks, Chris, and thanks, Jeff. And here we are back at the RCA Dome. We're just a few minutes away, in fact, 1 minute, 36 seconds away from the start of the second half. The Kiwis in dreamland here. We're just 20 minutes away from a semifinal berth, and you'll be interested to know halftime score, Yugoslavia versus United States. The States are down by 4. It's a 40-36 ball game. Jeff, that'll be a real shocker for the home of basketball, Indianapolis.
Yeah, absolutely. Who's your land over here in Indianapolis? And of course, during the break, we just went to the commentary of the US game, and there was some very long faces on that US bench, and there's a lot of money at stake there.
Indeed. We look at some of the highlights here. You've seen the Kiwis scoring. Now, one of the features of the Kiwi game, as I mentioned earlier, we've got patience on offense, and we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 6 players featuring in the scoring. That's good. Mincy, here's a player who stepped up. Rob Hickey did it last night against China, and Mincy's come off the bench. He's averaging less than 4 points a game, and he's put in a solid 5 in the first half, but more importantly, he's got a lot of rebounds for them. Ayusu, the 20-point-a-game player, has 8. Now, some of the other positive for the Kiwis, they've been very, very patient with their offense, and that's a feature of Tab Baldwin's game. He plays to the personnel he has. Secondly, the Kiwis have been very cranky, very unfriendly on defense, and in fact, you'd have to call them grumpy because they've only given up 29 points in one half of basketball. Scoring shared nicely around, and they've pushed Puerto Rico out of their favorite run-and-gun game. Now, they haven't been able to do that, and they haven't been able to replace it with something else. A couple of negatives, though, Jeff, just to balance things out here. Fouls are mounting up on New Zealand. In particular, Robert Hickey has 4. Nobody else is on foul trouble. That's a tribute to Tab Baldwin's coaching. He's rotated players very well. Secondly, the shooting percentage for both teams is not particularly good, somewhere down around 34, 35%. And the other thing that I just have to mention is Puerto Rico out-rebounding the Kiwis 23-18, and that leads probably, that's the explanation for points in the paint favoring Puerto Rico 16-2. But anyway, second half, we're about ready to begin. Jeff, how do you see it?
Well, I think and the other stat there, Bob, that you forgot to mention was that offensive rebounds. The Puerto Ricans have got 7, and that also attributes to that points in the paint. But you know, the team look relaxed. They honestly do, and I believe that we'll stick to our defense. We'll go hard on defense. And it's just a matter of taking our time offensively, as you said, and stopping the Puerto Ricans from running. Because, like, you know, that low percentage, the Puerto Ricans have only shot 15% from the three-point line. And that's because they haven't been able to run and get out and look at those open shots. So let's look for another encouraging. This is the third quarter, the dreaded third quarter for the Kiwis. And we've got to try and get away from it.
Ortiz starts with 2, and its scores are locked, 31-all. Biggest lead in the first half was New Zealanders, 9 points. Puerto Rico led at one stage by 2. Kirk Penny down bloody nose lane. We got a blocking foul. Kirk will go to the line, a chance to score those 2 points from the charity stripe. Watch him. He comes down the lane, crashes into a body. Fearless offensive play, and 3 players go down. Penny's going to be on the line to shoot 2 free throws. A very good free throw shooter. New Zealand shot 75% in the first half. 3 of 4 from the free throw line.
Why? I've got to ask the question, Bob. Why, oh why did you say that?
I thought people would be interested in it. The result is Kirk Penny misses 2, and I'm not going to say another word about
Please
the free throw line.
We've agreed that you aren't going to look at free throws.
I know.
Let's not talk about them.
Put a sock in it. Right. 31 all. Scores locked. Puerto Rico have scored first here. Arroyo, a nice little fake. Passing the ball around. Ortiz. Hey, he made the last one, but his elbow throws there.
Absolutely. He's lucky to draw some iron on that one.
That's an embarrassment for basketball players when the crowd starts chanting air ball, air ball. Book makes a move. Beautiful move. And a big jam.
Ed Book. I can't remember the last time I saw Ed Book jam a basketball.
That's like taking a chicken nugget and dunking it in the chili sauce, Jeff. Watch this.
Look at this. Santiago was a better defender than that. He just was totally surprised by Ed Book. Big Ed took it to the hole. Slam dunk. You beauty.
Yeah, that's what we need from the big man. He misses the free throw. That was a chance to extend the lead by 3. But anyway, New Zealand 33, Puerto Rico 31. What an interesting basketball match we have. Both teams, this is knockout team playing for a semifinal berth, just in case you've forgotten. Arroyo from the 3-point line, and when they can't run and gun, they've got no rhythm, and it's all blues from out around the perimeter.
There's Pero Cameron for 3. That would have been huge.
Pero into Ed Book. Takes it to the hole. Apodaca immediately puts up his hand because he doesn't want Santiago to get tagged with a birthday present.
Because that would have been his 3rd foul. But, you know, I hate to laugh here, but, like, you know, Ed Book is just so vicious. Look at it. This is vicious. I've never seen Ed. Look, a great shot there of Ed. I've never seen Ed that aggressive. A slam dunk the play before, and now he looks for a 2-handed jam as well.
Well, it's good play from the big man. Robert Hickey stepped up against China. Ed Book playing a blinder here in the start the second half. He makes the first free throw. 3 team fouls on Puerto Rico, 1 more, and New Zealand's in the walk to the charity stripe mode for the rest of the period. That's a good sign. We're less than 2 minutes into the 3rd period, Jeff.
Absolutely, and it's going to, oh, we missed that one again.
Book makes 1 of 2. 8-11 left in the 3rd period. 34-31, New Zealand by 3. Ortiz left alone. They're happy to give him that shot. Santiago has the ball taken away from him. Now they're trying to force it underneath, and they're double teaming Santiago. The other big player, Ortiz, is back up out around the 3-point line. I don't think he's very comfortable from out there. Ball goes off of one of the Puerto Ricans.
No, he's not comfortable out there. But the other thing that the Kiwis are doing is just the double teaming. One in behind, one in front of the post player.
Pero, nice feed. Ed Book, little fake, puts it up and it drops it in. That's a good assist from Pero Cameron. It just shows you the class of the big man.
Look, now we got that on screen. The 2 big men from Puerto Rico just swore at each other. And I know it was swearing because it was in English.
Well, I couldn't understand it, Jeff. I don't pick up on that sort of talk. 36-31. The Kiwis by 5. Little baseline floater. Doesn't go down. Apodaca gets his own rebound. Box him off.
Yes, we've got to keep him off the board. That's his 2nd offensive rebound. And as I said, you know, they got 7 offensive rebounds, the Puerto Ricans, in that first half.
2 players keeping the Puerto Ricans lively and in this game. And it's Mincy, the big man, who's not in there right now. And Pero lights it up with a big 3. And Apodaca, who's gotten 2 second-chance baskets. He shouldn't get them.
And Tab is absolutely beside himself there. He's off the knee. He's yelling and screaming.
Foul's going to go against Ed Book. Lowered his shoulder and kept Santiago from progressing to the baseline. That's 2 fouls on Ed Book. So the chess match continues. Now Ed's playing very, very well. We can't afford to have 3 fouls on him. Watch this. Here we go. Pero Cameron, nothing but net.
And Santiago is not a happy camper. He went to the bench Someone offered him a towel. He threw it down on the ground, and he is just spat the dummy.
Well, Jeff, the coach is mixing up those players. He's got a chemistry set here, and he just hasn't found the right chemicals to put on the court. But Arroyo takes it inside.
The Denver Nugget.
39-35, Kiwis by 4. In it goes. Dickel brings it back high, gives it to Perro, gives it to Phil Jones, looking for his shot. There's 3 seconds on the shot clock. He puts it up. It goes down. You wouldn't believe it.
It's only a 2. And
Only
that was a hope and a prayer. But the man from Reefton, they're loving it in Reefton. We've got a couple of emails. They're absolutely loving it down there, Bob.
41-35, New Zealand on a 10-6 lead here in the third period. 3 fouls on Sparky Dickel. And immediately he's subbed off. Here it is, the desperation shot with 1 second on the shot clock, and it goes in. Oh,
isn't technology great? You know, people are texting me messages on my mobile as we do the commentary. It's brilliant.
Oh, Jeff, you're putting a lot of responsibility on my shoulders. Get with it here, mate. Ball goes into Ortiz. He spins. He can't get it up, and that's a sign of good defense from the Kiwis. 3-point attempt doesn't go down, and look at Kirk Penny goes up and takes it away from Ed Book. Good rebounded.
Defensive rebounding once again. It's brilliant.
Now Penny's posting up low against Apodaca. He knows he can beat him.
And the referee knows he can that he can get a call down low, because Kirk Penny is a lot bigger in the post. And you know, at 6'5", you know, Kirk's got a great upper body strength. And now I think the Puerto Ricans here are throwing a bit of the dice out here, because they don't want to get New Zealand away from them, because it's 41-35 at the moment, and they've put in a couple of subs, 2 or 3 subs here. So, maybe they're panicking a little bit,
Raymond Dalmau, we haven't seen much of him. He's got a lot of court time in previous games. He's come on the court for Puerto Rico, a 29-year-old. He's a real veteran. Just got introduced to Ed Book's elbow there.
And Ed just cleared him out.
41-35, lead to the Kiwis. 5:20 left to go in the third period. Paul Henry takes it up top. He was looking for a path to the basket. It just didn't open up. The Red Seas didn't part. Inside. Penny knows he can beat Apodaca. Put up a good shot. Comes in, tries to get the rebound, and the Puerto Ricans scramble to pick it up off the floor.
There was a hot potato there. No one wanted the basketball there. 3 of them tried to grab it.
But it slows their offense down. They have to walk it over halfway, and as a result, there's 11 seconds on the shot clock.
There's an offensive foul. Ortiz. Let's see the replay. Perro didn't even have to act on that one, and that's the 3rd foul on Ortiz. So the big men of Puerto Rico are in serious trouble right now. And Bob, you've said it before, this is where the wheels may drop off, because the South Americans, they have a tendency to drop their shoulders, and all of a sudden, that's why they need all the psychologists on their bench.
I guess you're right. 4:50 left in the third period. Timeouts taken by Puerto Rico. They've got to figure out the New Zealand defense, and they haven't so far. New Zealand lead by 6 points, 41-35. Lots of action here at the RCA Dome. Everyone in New Zealand, we understand, is following the Tall Blacks. How could you not?
It's just part of sporting history. These guys are, Tab Baldwin, Nenad Visunik, and of course the Tall Black team themselves have just created a bit of history. And isn't it great to be part of it, Bob? And we've said it often enough on the commentaries. It is so great to be a Kiwi here in Indianapolis.
It's fun. It's just an absolute joy to be here. And it's kind of sporting now, not sporting history. We're watching it right now. Give it a day or two, and then we can call it history. But right now, the Kiwis, with a 6-point lead, have the Puerto Ricans very worried. Now, the Puerto Ricans are not out of the game at all. There's only 2 3-pointers separating these teams, but Puerto Rico is a very unhappy team. They're talking angrily amongst themselves during the timeout. They cannot figure out New Zealand's defense. They're forcing shots. They cannot connect from the three-point line, and they cannot get the ball out and run and gun. They like to get into that natural Puerto Rican rhythm and throw up the threes, Jeff, and the Kiwis just will not allow them to do it.
Yeah, it's incredible. And, you know, the Kiwis once again just showing us more and more guts, more determination. You know, Ed Book, slam dunk, you know, then an attempted slam dunk. You know, it's magical to watch. It's incredible. Big Ed said to me today that just while he was doing the warm-ups, he says, I'm going to have a better game than I did yesterday.
Well, I hope you're right there. Ed Book is playing so well. Now it's about 90 degrees outside. They've turned the temperature down in the RCA Dome. I'm actually shivering, but I think that plays right into the Kiwis' hands. It feels like wintertime basketball. It's all on. Pero Cameron, love to make a little move to the hoop. Has to give it up. There he goes again.
He wants it back.
Big mismatch here. Nice pass underneath, but it's intercepted. Dalmo tries to take it the length of the court, and the ball's knocked out of his hands. Once again, good transition defense from the Tall Blacks, Jeff.
Yeah, it certainly is, and that's what's kept the Tall Blacks in this game, because, you know, they've been able to get back on transition, back on defense quickly, and there's no fast break baskets.
By now, people at home should understand these terms. You're getting quite familiar with the play of the Tall Blacks and some of the words we're using. Lights it up. That's Ayusu, the little guard. He's scoring 20 a game, and he just cracked the ice on that basket with a three-pointer. 41-38 lead. The chanting coming from the Puerto Rican bench now as Ed Book puts up the shot. No rebounding underneath, and the Puerto Ricans suddenly shifting the momentum in the game slightly here. Brought it up a little more quickly. Underneath it goes to Ortiz. He makes a nice reverse layup.
That was nice. That was a nice play. That was a nice play by the Puerto Ricans. And, of course, you know, they've pulled back within one. The Kiwis need a basket here just to get that domination back.
Well, the Puerto Ricans set the tournament alight. An offensive charging foul from Paul Henare. He was sucked into that, and the momentum has shifted. The tidal wave now coming from Puerto Rico. You see Ortiz, nice little reverse layup there. Puerto Rico on a 5-0 lead. New Zealand's lead is cut to 1.
And I don't want to say it, but we're in that dreaded third quarter. We've only got 3 minutes, 21 seconds to tough it out, Bob, and then we'll be right. And we're in the dreaded third quarter, and we're up by 1.
Well, that's right. It's a whole lot different than previous games. Ayusu, the man's found his rhythm, Jeff. Whoa, the sky is falling, cried Chicken Little.
It certainly is, and of course, we don't need him and all their coaches there. That's good look on the TV there with all the coaches up.
Now, look at the intensity. The Puerto Ricans can feel it. They've upped the tempo of their game, and they make another steal, and the foul is going to be called against Dylan Boucher. The Puerto Ricans are doing to us what we've done to them for almost 3 periods of the game. They've upped the defensive pressure and intensity, and look at the bench. They're into this game mentally and physically now. They feel the tide has turned, and they're sitting on a 2-point lead, 43-41, after New Zealand had controlled the game for most of the 3 periods we've watched it.
We need a defensive play here, a good defensive stop, and that's it. That's a good defensive stop. The offensive charge.
Will the 2 points count? He hasn't signaled yet.
No, he's waved off the basket, so that's exactly what New Zealand needed. Now we need to come down. Here it is. Latimer, went straight to the hole. Pero Cameron was planted like that big carry tree he is. And now we need a good offensive set here where we get a good shot off.
Well, that's a little deflating for the Puerto Ricans. It takes a little bit of air out of their tires. Underneath, good pass from Pero.
And that's the basket I was after, Bob. That's the basket. Good defensive play down one end. A nice, smooth offensive play down the other. We've now tied it up, taken the air out of the Puerto Ricans' balloons or their tires, whatever they're running on. We've taken the air out of it. They're back into that slow-down game.
Well, the Kiwis have bounced back here. Scores are locked, 43 all. Don't leave your television set. From the corner, Ayusu, who made 2 in a row, misses. The ball's knocked out of bounds by the Puerto Ricans. And suddenly we feel a little bit of a momentum shift once again, and the Puerto Ricans want to call timeout with 1:53 left in the third period. Phil Jones took that beautiful assist pass from the Cowrie Tree. Pero Cameron.
In fact, he must have heard what I called him on yesterday's commentary, because he rang me up at about 1:30 this morning at my hotel room and says to me, "Bro, I heard you say that I was mini-me next to Mink Betia." And I said, "I don't know who's telling you that back home, that PC, because it's a downright lie. I blamed you, Bob."
Thank you very much, Jim. He doesn't know my phone number, so I didn't get that 3 a.m. call. Well, the crowd from Puerto Rico really showing their enthusiasm right behind their team here. Wonderful national fervor being showed by all the countries.
And of course, they're right next to the Kiwis, and as the camera pans over here, you'll see our small contingent of Kiwis. And of course, an update, what's that, 45-42 to the USA in the third quarter. So USA starting to play basketball.
Well, a real barn burner at Conseco Fieldhouse. The comfy, snug little Conseco Fieldhouse seats a mere 18,500.
Great stadium to be in, a great stadium. I'd rather that than the RCA Dome here. It's just too big for basketball.
Just a reminder, our 2 referees, one from Lithuania, that's Romualdas Brazauskas, and one from Germany, Efim Resner. Neutral referees for all the games, of course. Here we go, 1:53 left in period 3. Scores are locked, 43 all. The drama continues. The Tall Blacks looking for a semifinal place against the winner of the Yugoslavian-United States game. Book underneath, Dylan Boucher. He's going to make a move to the basket. He spins, little fake, puts it up, and a nice block by Apodaca. Hasn't he played well for Puerto Rico?
He certainly has, Bob, and he's not one of the ones that have actually featured on any of their scoring or anything, and we found that in Li Nan yesterday with China, so maybe this is the guy that's going to bring Puerto Rico back.
Santiago back in the game. Immediately the pass goes into him, and the foul is going to be against
Pero Cameron.
That's 3 on Big Pero. That's going to be a crucial foul. You see the move here. Watch, out of the screen comes.
Well, that's a bit suspect, that block there. And here's Santiago down low. I would have thought that Ed Book got him from behind rather than Pero.
Yep, that's just a mistaken call. Fair enough, there's a foul there, but it's on the wrong man. Book should have picked that one up.
I've got to say, you know, our boys back home, the referees back home, you know, they wouldn't be out of place here, some of those guys back home. You know, we've got some good referees back home compared to some of the guys we've seen at this tournament, Bob.
Well, Stan Baddock is here. He's had a couple of games. He's disappointed he hasn't gotten more games, and I agree with you. Stan should have gotten more quality basketball to referee. It's one of the best. Now the intensity, defensive intensity from Puerto Rico is really picking up here. They're an energy sort of team. They kind of feed on one another's confidence, and you can just feel them. They're into this game. They know it's elimination. Phil Jones straight to the basket and knocks down 2.
And because all the shot blockers went for the right hand, and they don't understand that the Reefton kid was actually left-handed.
Dylan Boucher out front trying to make a steal, knocks it out of bounds, and Dalmau gets away there luckily. Little
Here we
fake
go.
Underneath.
Look at all the shot blockers went for the right hand. Phil lays it up with the left.
Phil Jones keeping New Zealand alive here with 6 straight points. Dalmau drives underneath, and he gets in the air without knowing what he's going to do with a basket. That's a crucial mistake from a guard. You don't do that.
And I don't know why he passed it off. He had the lane open.
Never take off until the okay is given from the conning tower, but Dalmau took off there and had no one to pass to, and Paul Henry makes 2. New Zealand by 4, 48-44. They've climbed back into a lead here. It was a 3-pointer, not a comfortable one, but hey, a lead is a lead. And from outside, Ayuso still looking for the magic. He's had a couple. There have been flashes of it, but he just hasn't been consistent enough. Kiwis with Phil Jones throwing a 3 right at the end of the quarter. New Zealand 48 and Puerto Rico 44.
This is not some fling.
What else is lunchtime shagging?
Cold Feet, Tuesday on 1. To help clean your teeth thoroughly, you could use one brush with cross-active bristles, one with a flexible tip, and one with a flexible neck. Or you could use one that has it all. Introducing 3 toothbrushes in 1, the new McLean's Flex Max Active. With cross-active bristles to loosen and sweep away plaque, a flexible tip to get behind back teeth, and a flexible neck that's gentle on gums. McLean's Flex Max Active. 3 toothbrushes in 1 for a superior clean that's gentle on gums.
Juicy apples picked only on the night of the harvest moon. Coconuts from the tiniest Pacific atoll. Hazelnuts selected by specially trained squirrels. Raisins sun-dried on the backs of Mediterranean goddesses. And golden flakes of wheat hand-pressed by a mysterious order of monks. Where would you find a cereal like this? Who cares? Because you'll find similar ingredients in Kellogg's Just Right Fruit and Flakes. Not too heavy, not too light.
Killer thinks he's Christ. He thinks he's Christ, and he's killing his apostles.
We're getting ready for the final 10 minutes in the quarterfinal match. New Zealand by 4 over Puerto Rico. Everybody in New Zealand now just take one big breath, concentrate, and let's get the Kiwis home by 14 or 15. What do you say, Jeff Green?
We're going to do it, Bob. I've had confidence in this team all along. And the program that Tab has put together, this is a team that dares to believe. They dare to believe. We heard Tab say it last night. You know, he's a dreamer. He wants to get out there and dream that he can do it. And his team believes that they can dare to dream. And we heard Jeff Ryan say it at the top of the show. You know, that they are daring to dream. The dream is still possible. And, you know, a semi-final spot is begging.
Well, there's a team of oldies in New Zealand named the Going Nowheres, completely the opposite to the Tall Blacks, who are going everywhere. And they got 10 minutes to get there. Fouls for New Zealand at just a little bit of a shadow on this bright sunny day in Indianapolis. Peril Cameron has 3. Mark Dickel has 3, and Robert Hickey has 4. Here we go, the final 10 minutes. Ed Book jumping against Santiago, and Phil Jones collects the ball, takes it to the hoop, and we got a 6-point lead.
I have to laugh again, Bob. The guys tried to block the shot on his right hand. They don't understand Phil Jones is a lefty.
Quickly, just to update you, USA lead 49 over Yugoslavia, 46 in the third period.
And there's a foul on one of the big guys. That's on Ed Book. He's got 3. So Perry Cameron has got 3. Ed Book has got 3. And, of course, Rob Hickey's got 4.
Puerto Rico mixing up their players. Mincy, the player who came into the first half and played so well for them, is in the ball game.
I can't believe that, Bob. They've made a substitution 17 seconds into the fourth quarter with 2 subs coming on.
That's a secret sneaky move, Jeff. Well, I can't figure it out. It's so sneaky.
Well, it's not in the coaching manuals I've read.
Okay. Dickel back in the game. He's on 3 fouls for the Tall Blacks. Ed Book. 2 big men now. Peril Cameron, Ed Book. Ed Book turns around from the free throw line. And Mincy gets his big mitts on the ball, and the Puerto Ricans will bring it over halfway. New Zealand by 3, 50-47. Underneath, Ortiz all alone, spins away from Ed Book. It's a 1-point ball game, and the Puerto Rican bench erupts once again.
Once again, the Kiwis just got to settle down, run a good offense, got a good look at the basket.
Puerto Rico throwing everything into it. They know it's do or die time, as does New Zealand. And they're just playing with they're a little more pumped up, Jeff.
And another substitution by the Puerto Ricans. So they made one after 17 seconds, and they've made one, and they can't make that sub because it's black ball. There's no way they can. And of course the referee agrees with me.
Apodaca has to get back on the court. You can only substitute when you're controlling the basketball or when there's been a foul.
New Zealand got 7 seconds on the shot clock to get a good shot off here.
Dickel gets away from Arroyo, long enough to collect the ball, goes to the hoop, gives it off to Ed Book. Pero, it doesn't go down. They had to get a shot up.
Now that was a mental error by Ed Book. He just didn't recognize that we had 7 seconds on the shot clock, and he thought we had more. Pass the ball around looking for an offense. We need to tighten up mentally.
Okay, 1 point separate these two teams. They couldn't be better matched. So close it is, and Tab Baldwin on that right knee again. Deep thinking. Arroyo at the top, not a shooter this guy, but very quick inside. Behind the back a couple of times, kicks it out to Mincy from the corner, falls short. Arroyo, and the foul comes again.
No, that's Apodaca.
Apodaca it is. He's come off the bench, and he's ignited the Puerto Rican team.
That's his fourth, Bob, fourth offensive rebound. Here we go. In there, easy. Phil had to foul him. That's his fourth offensive rebound. We need to put a body on that man. Now, see if you can put the mockers on this guy shooting free throws, Bob. Go on. Have a go.
Apodaca throws it up, and around it goes. We were looking for it to drop, weren't we, Jeff? But I'm going to watch this technique very closely. Swings his arms.
And of course, all the psychologists, the referees just told all the psychologists on the Puerto Rican bench, stay off the court.
Well, I hate to do it to him. He's actually quite a nice guy, but 50-49, the Tall Blacks by 1. Puerto Rican crowd on their feet, matched by the New Zealand contingent. Everybody in the game. Oh, Boucher, what a great assist from Pero Cameron once again, and Boucher knocks it down.
And that was a backdoor play. They set a back screen for Dylan. He saw it, went to the basket, and made the easy left-hand layup.
Arroyo from the three-point line doesn't go down, and look at Phil Jones polish the glass on the rebound. Be still my heart. I don't know if I'm going to make it, Jeff. This is just too much.
Stay with me, Bob. Stay with me.
I'll try, mate. Kirk Penny draws a foul. Ayusu faked a couple of times, couldn't stay with Penny, and fouls him. Team fouls in this period, 2 against New Zealand.
That was a great play. Sparky Dickel went up, set the screen on Ortiz, and Dylan Boucher saw it, went to the hole.
Phil Jones double pumps it, and into the basket it goes. Oh, sweetness and light.
And look, Phil Jones has scored 18 points. They're not 33 big ones like he did last night, but they've been a quiet assassin from the Reefton kid.
Well, it's a low-scoring game. Ayuso, just rhythm on that shot, and he drops a big 3. That pulls him back into the game. 52-54. New Zealand leading. 7:16 left in this semi-final encounter. Boucher puts it on the glass, hoping somebody was there to get a rebound. No one was. New Zealand playing with a short team now. Arroyo takes it the length of the court and locks the scores up. 54 all.
This is the best shot the Puerto Ricans are going to put at us, Bob.
Now Arroyo with 20 points, hasn't shot well, but he's still collected 5 threes in the game. Sparky Dickel gives it to Boucher, kicks it outside. Offensive foul, it's charging on Dylan Boucher, and the tide starts rolling in against the Kiwis once again.
No, I still believe this is the best shot that the Puerto Ricans can put on us. You know, I think it's just a matter of the Kiwis there. Dylan going down the lane. He had nowhere to go, no one to pass to, but it's something we've just got to get defensive play right here, Bob. A good one here, then a good offense, and we'll be back. The momentum will be back with the Tall Blacks.
A defensive stopper is what we need. Ortiz passes it inside.
And there it is, big Pero Cameron got the good block.
Steps taken by Philip Jones, so the Tall Blacks give the ball straight back to Puerto Rico.
Well, we got the good defensive block there. Pero Cameron, then we gave it to Phil, and he took steps on the defensive player rushing at him. Once again, let's get another defensive stop.
Number 12, Ho Rittener, back into the game for Puerto Rico. We haven't seen him since the first period. Ayuso trying to make a couple of moves, gives it off to Ortiz. There's 7 seconds on the shot clock. Arroyo kicks it out, kicks it back to the big shooter. Ayuso for 3, and it's a 57-54 lead.
Unbelievable shooting from that man. Unbelievable. That was clutch time.
6 threes for the little man, Ayuso. He's kept Puerto Rico in this tournament. He's led them to a 5-1 record. Sparky Dickel throws up 3. It doesn't go down, and Ortiz clears the board. The Kiwis are in trouble. Arroyo quickly up the court. Fadeaway little jump shot. He's looking for the foul. It didn't come.
We don't need Sparky pulling up for 3 right now. We just need good offense, Bob. Get the ball to the right people.
Well, Tab saving his big man. New Zealand playing with a short team. Jones fakes once, puts it off the glass, and he knocks it down, and he's going to go to the line.
And he got fouled, and he's injured. He's down injured.
Had the air knocked out of him, wind knocked out of him. He'll recover very quickly. He's looking a bit in pain. Sean Marks off the bench. He's right with his lads here. Here he goes. Little double pump, goes up.
Off the glass, kisses it beautifully, and he'll go to the line, and dare we say it, to tie the ball game up.
Phil Jones not particularly happy after that shot. You can see Kirk Penny run over to his pistol firing mate, and he's pointing to the floor. He wants somebody to wipe it off. Here comes the towel man. Gives it a bit of a wipe up. Very, very important. All the moisture's taken up off the floor. It's so crucial that nobody slips.
We've seen it all through this tournament, that the floor gets a lot of sweat on it. Here we go.
Phil Jones, he cans it.
Nothing but.
Ties the scores. 57 all. Arroyo, the little point guard from the Denver Rockets, brings it over halfway. He's going to be marked by Kirk Penny. They've shifted Sparky Dickel onto Ayuso. Ayuso's got the hot hand, kicks it back out to Arroyo. 10 seconds on the shot clock. Arroyo dribbles into the corner. It goes. Weak side rebound, goes Tall Blacks.
Like I said before, Bob, I think we've taken the best shot the Puerto Ricans put at us in that last couple of minutes.
You reckon they punched themselves out?
Yeah, I think so. We've gone to the rope-a-dope, and we've tired them out. Here's Phil Jones.
Oh, it just doesn't drop. What a good move he made to the hoop. Oh, yes, it didn't go down. Scores locked. A lot of pushing underneath. Watch the matchup. Now, Puerto Rico playing with the ball. They're really taken out of their pattern. Once again, this plays into the Kiwis' hands. Ayuso has the ball knocked away from him.
There you go. Dylan Boucher got his hand in the cookie jar, came out with a chocolate chip.
When they start to get some rhythm, the Kiwis take the air out of the ball and slow it down again, as they have so many times in the game. Pero to Dickel. Phil Jones, the hot player right now, goes off Ortiz. 4:08 left in the ball game. A timeout's going to be called by the Kiwis. The Tall Blacks want to talk it over, and the scores are locked. 57 all.
Whatever you do, don't go make that coffee. Don't go make the cup of tea. Stay with us. This is going to go down to the wire. And the Puerto Ricans are fighting amongst themselves. One of them just took a swing at each other. They're right in front of us, and all the psychologists are down. That's what we want from the Puerto Ricans, fighting amongst themselves so we can get out there and beat them.
Jeff, the emotion coming from the Puerto Rican bench is probably good for them. They are a team that like to pump themselves up. They're an emotional sort of team. But they're not a happy team right now, because nothing that they want to do is going their way. In spite of that, in this quarter, they've outscored the Kiwis by 4, 13-9. And just to update you, at the end of the third period, the United States has a 6-point cushion on the Yugoslavians, 58-52. Remember, the winner of this game goes against the winner of the USA-Yugoslavia game. Jeff, tell me it's going to be New Zealand. I need to hear it.
Totally correct, Bob. It's going to be a New Zealand victory. You know, we've been in tight situations like this before. We know what we're doing. And in fact, I've got to say this, Bob. I don't know a lot of Spanish, but the Puerto Rican coach just pointed to put his index finger to his head and said, "Loco, loco." So yeah, so I can assume that he doesn't want them to go mental and lose it.
Crazy, crazy. 4 minutes, 8 seconds. It's not a large crowd, but wow, is it a noisy crowd. Half New Zealand, half Puerto Rico.
Someone's going to go away. Someone's going to go away disappointed, and it's not going to be the men in black.
Okay, both teams coming back onto the court. Sparky Dickel leads the Tall Blacks out. Ayuso, you see him there, number 10. Hot hand, 21 points. 6 of those are three-pointers. But Ayuso has 3 fouls. Get another one on him, and he'll have to think twice about going after Sparky. Penny inbounds the ball. Gets it to Phil Jones. Little fake. Pumps it, puts it up, and Ortiz gets the rebound and begins throwing the elbows. The foul is going to be tagged against number 10, Dylan Boucher. Now Boucher picks up his third foul. Tab Baldwin, pensive as ever from the sidelines. Scores lock, 57 all. Hang on to your hats.
Sweaty palms are coming now, Bob. This is sweaty palm time.
Okay, Mincy has to come high. It's good to drag him away from the backboard. Underneath, Ortiz gets the pass. Perro Cameron slashes him, prevents the 2 points. But that's going to be 4 on Perro Cameron.
But I think he needed to do that. PC needed to foul down there. We didn't need an easy basket from Ortiz. And, you know, that's what we needed. So, you know, even though he's got 4 fouls, PC couldn't afford not to let an easy basket go. Let's see if Ortiz can do it from the line, Bob.
Boucher had the scalpel out, but missed him.
And there you go. That's why PC, you know, they've obviously scouted that Ortiz is not the guy that's going to win it from the free throw line. So, good foul, Perro Cameron.
Well, if I concentrate on his technique, he'll miss the second one. Yeah, a little bounce, little look. Well, he makes 1 of 2, and Puerto Rico shoot into a 1-point lead, 58-57. Both sections of the crowd directly across from us are going absolutely bonkers, backing their respective teams. Tall Blacks look inside to Perro Cameron. Perro spins, goes baseline, gives it out. The ball doesn't drop, but he spikes it high. That's good play. Resetting the shot clock. Dickel backs away, and he calls the play, and they're ready to move. Kirk Penny. Boy, has he been well marked in this game. Just hasn't been able to get up much. Kicks it back outside. Dickel picks it up. 7 seconds on the shot clock. Perro sets up for the three.
Fake.
He's got it! We love you, Perro!
How many times have we seen the big fella dig us out of a hole like that? He ball faked, the defense shifted, open up for the big three. Good man, Perro Cameron.
And that took a lot of time off the clock. Under 3 minutes to play. 60-58 from a long way. The Puerto Ricans get it back, and that resets the shot clock. Arroyo on the baseline. Forces it inside, and Puerto Rico get the ball once again as Sparky Dickel dives to try to save it. Here it is. Knocks it back to Perro. Nobody stayed with him.
All the defenders went with him.
Splash!
Perro Cameron. Mini-me. I know he's going to try and squash me tonight in my hotel room, but Mini-me came to play, hit the big three.
Ayuso has to go over to the bench. Something wrong with his footwear there. The shoelace is broken down. The technology in basketball boots. You wouldn't think that would ever happen.
There's a great shot for the sponsors.
There's not one piece of moving equipment in that machine, and yet it breaks down. Explain that to me, Jeff.
I've got no, and he's blaming that for missing that last three.
Okay, well, the Puerto Ricans playing on sticking plasters now. Okay, here we go. 60-58, 2:34 left in the ball game. Puerto Rico go inside to Ortiz. He's marked by Dylan Boucher. Spins off the glass. Doesn't go down. They get a second look at it. Latimer. The big man, number 11, Latimer.
I would have liked to have seen the
meters.
Kiwis foul there. Put him on the line and see whether he could shred his stuff.
Scores locked again. 2 minutes, 11 seconds. 2 minutes, 10 seconds. The Puerto Ricans have won 2 tight games when the scores have been this close. Boucher knocks it outside, but Arroyo quick to pick it up. Kicks it outside, and Kirk Penny, he read that one from halfway and just slid into position to make the steal. You beauty.
Great stuff, Kirk Penny.
1:45 and counting down. Oh, can I make it through it? I think I will. Hang on to your hats, all of New Zealand. Cameron has the ball knocked out of his hands by Latimer. Antonio Latimer, 2 meters tall. Good defense on Pero Cameron. We got a timeout called by the New Zealand team with 1:35 seconds to go, and the scores are locked, 60 each.
More importantly, Bob, 5 seconds left on the shot clock. Tab will go to a pattern play here. He'll draw up a play for the last 5 seconds as Pero Cameron there on the replay going to the basket. This is crucial stuff.
That last play epitomizes this game. 2 very closely matched teams doing exactly what they should. Pero took it inside against Latimer. Latimer before Pero could get the ball too high, reached in and knocked it out of bounds. It's just one each.
I hate to say this, Bob, but the palms are starting to get sweaty. You know, shifting weight on each cheek on the chair here. You know, we're starting to get down to it. It's starting to get to the wire.
Yeah, well, we just got a little bit of a break here. Time to catch our breaths. The fans are jumping and shouting, letting off a little bit of nervous energy, backing their teams. The music is pounding. The RCA Dome, with about 3,000 fans in it, has never been so noisy. Well, that might be a bit of an exaggeration compared to the 50,000.
We are in America, though. We are in America. Everything's big. Everything's beautiful.
Right. We're allowed. You're right. We're allowed.
Beautiful.
Okay, the Kiwis have talked things over. Now they want to stay with their pattern. They're going to be looking for picks and switches inside. If they can get it to the three-point shooters, Phil Jones or Kirk Penny, so much the better. If not, they're happy to let Pero Cameron come high and attempt a three. But they'll be looking for, and Boucher will be trying to sneak underneath uncontested for a two-pointer down there. Now, one of the coaches for the Puerto Ricans is in the blood bin. He's thrown everything he had into that last timeout. Okay, play resumed.
5 seconds, Bob. Let's keep an eye on it. This is 5 seconds.
Have the ball. They're running an out-of-bounds play. It's got to go high. No, it comes underneath to Boucher. 3 seconds, 2 seconds. Stickle puts up the three, and Boucher knocks it high.
We've got it back. We've got
24 seconds to play with it. Scores locked, 60 all. Time ticking away, 121, 120. 12 seconds on the shot clock. Phil Jones comes up, sets pick. Parkey down Bloody Nose Lane, kicks it back high. Pero, absolute beauty.
How many times have we seen that, Bob?
What hasn't this man done for this team, for his country? Pero, we love you. 3-point lead, New Zealand. Defensive stopper needed right here, right now. Ayusu from the corner and nets it. Oh, you beauty.
With a big three. We're down to 50 seconds to go in the game.
Pressure shooter.
We need another one, Pero.
Pero's just shot back-to-back three-pointers. 42 seconds left in the game. Scores locked, 43 all, and the foul is going to be against number 12, Rolando Horitiner.
We're not going to win it from the line because the Kiwis have only got 3 team fouls. 39.9 seconds to go, Bob. The Kiwis can hold this and get one good shot off, then play great defense to stop the Puerto Ricans.
Well, the foul resets the shot clock. A foul is as good as some shots right now. The Kiwis want to control the ball. They don't want to give possession too early over to the Puerto Ricans. We got 27 seconds, time running down. Boucher underneath, gets it to Pero Cameron, and it's an easy two.
Okay. Into the basket for the 2 points.
Now timeout's going to be taken. Puerto Rico has called timeout. There's 23.4 seconds left to go in this semifinal. What we see here, Dylan Boucher, good assist. Pero Cameron knocks it down. He's got the last 7 points that New Zealand have scored. Compliments of a beautiful assist from Dylan Boucher. Sparky Dickel threw the ball to Boucher. So it's a 65-63 ball game. The Kiwis by 2.
And yet you can see what the Puerto Ricans are doing here now, Bob. They're laying off Dylan Boucher. They know he's not the offense that the Kiwis are going to look for, so they stayed right off him. Sparky Dickel, he drove the lane, kicked it to Dylan Boucher. Dylan saw no one on him, drove to the basket, got in the air, knew big PC's man, stepped across. Puerto got the easy layup. Good offense, New Zealand. Good play. We're up by 2, Bob, 23.4. All we've got to do is watch the three-point shot from the Puerto Ricans.
Well, that's right. Ayuso has been, we talked about him in the first half, and he was really taken out of his game, but he certainly let up. He's a pure shooter, and when pure shooters have a cold patch, they know there's only one way out of it. Keep putting the ball in the air. Ayuso has done that, and he's kept Puerto Rico in the game. It's a 2-point ball game. Both of these teams averaging over 80 points a game offensively, and we've got a 65-63 score with 23 seconds to go. This is purest lunch bucket, blue-collar basketball at its best.
Yeah, and we can't foul, Bob, because the Kiwis are on 5 team fouls. We can't foul. And, of course, Tab has now called a timeout. So that's good strategy.
He's seen what the Puerto Ricans have come out with. Ortiz in the game, Latimer's in the game, and once again, as soon as he saw that, he called a timeout, and he wants to change the combination again, which forces the Puerto Rican coaches to double guess. What is Tab up to? Tab is nothing but clever. And at this point in the ball game, it's as much mental as it is physical. Both teams know that their future hopes in this tournament ride on the next 23 seconds of play. New Zealand in the driver's seat, in a sense, with a 2-point lead. It means nothing, really, 65-63, except that it forces Puerto Rico to make a basket.
Yeah, and that basket they have to make is a 3. You know, the options for them are shoot a 3 and win the game by 1. Take the basketball to the hole, score a basket, and go to the free throw line and win the game. Or they can put it into overtime and just get the 2 points.
Well, just remember, Jeff, Puerto Rico is a pressure team. You see on the replay, the last 2 points to New Zealand. They beat Turkey in a real barn burner. It came down to the wire, and a 3-pointer on the buzzer beat them by 3, and they won their last game against Angola. They're a bit down, but a double overtime, and they won by 289-87. So they're used to pressure. They're an emotional team. They get high, they get up, and here we go. Time ticking down. 19 seconds. Possession.
Sparky Dickel's got the assignment to stop the 3.
Arroyo with the ball up top. Couldn't get up a shot. New Zealand forced a turnover. Sparky has the ball. There's 6.8 seconds. Boucher, he's mobbed. He's hacked to death. And the Puerto Ricans are livid. 2.9 seconds on the clock.
That was great defense, Bob. Look at the Kiwis going mental in the crowd.
This is our dream. The Tall Blacks are 2.9 seconds away from a semifinal berth.
The dream is still alive, Bob. The dream is still alive. The Kiwis have done it, I believe, because 2.9 seconds on the clock, Bob. Dylan Boucher, he got fouled, so he won't be going to the line. They haven't called free throws, so the Puerto Ricans have to steal the ball. It's New Zealand's ball inbounds, the Puerto Ricans, and there's the replay. That was great defense, Pero Cameron.
And beautiful block by Ed Book as Lattimore went up with it. Book got a big hand on the ball, the molten ball made by Japan. It's the official FIBA ball, and blocked that shot, and now the Tall Blacks are talking things over. Here's what's going to happen. The Tall Blacks will inbound the ball. The Puerto Ricans, if they know what they're up to, are going to foul. As soon as the ball comes in, they're going to foul the Kiwi, put them on the line, and hope they make only one of the two. Well, they won't have to. It'll give the ball over. No team fouls. 4 on Puerto Rico, 5 on New Zealand, so it is a shooting situation. Puerto Rico want a foul as soon as the ball comes in. Put a shooter on the line, hope he makes only one or misses both of them, and then they get possession with about 2 seconds to go, Jeff, and that's time enough to launch a rocket and tie the ball game or score a 3 and win it. But, on the other hand, all the Tall Blacks have to do, all I say, is get the ball into somebody who's momentarily free, have him put the ball on the ground a couple of paces just to stay away from any other human being in the gym for 2.9 seconds, and the ball game's over, and we are in the semifinals.
Well, I've got nothing to say, Bob. You've summarized it perfectly. Let's see what they do. The Puerto Ricans have to foul. Got it to Pero Cameron. They have to foul Big PC. They don't. It's all over, Bob. It's all over. We're in the top 4. We go to the middle round. Give me 5. Oh, the Kiwi crowd are going mental over there. They're all loco. And look at it. They're into the crowd. Brendan Ponga. All the team have decided to go into the crowd. Look at them. Ed Book's in the crowd.
Well, this is one of the biggest moments in sporting history in New Zealand, sporting presence in New Zealand. The annals of New Zealand sport have a brand new chapter written in that book. The Tall Blacks are into the semifinals of the World Championships against everybody's predictions.
Unbelievable.
Paul Hobbs, Mark Hinton just in front of us here, ecstatic with the news here. The Tall Blacks by 2, 65-63. And I'm sure that all of New Zealand, all of the energy that's come from down under, emanating up here to Indianapolis, has helped this team. The scorers, Mark Dickel 3, Kirk Penny 7.
And we're just going to try and get one of the players over here, Bob. They're just in the middle of the court. They're celebrating, and so they should. This is unbelievable.
Whoa.
I can't sit down, Bob. The crowd are going nuts. The security are over there. They've decided to keep the Kiwis back. They're over there in their droves. Tab Baldwin, we take your hat off to you. You and your team are absolutely magical. Let's see
Here's
the replay.
The last play. Pero Cameron biffs Ortiz.
And they couldn't foul him.
You notice how he sidestepped Ayuso. Ayuso went in to make a foul, and a little adroit move from Pero Cameron. And look at the Kiwi contingent going absolutely berserk. There you see it. I'll say it again. I love it. New Zealand 65 and Puerto Rico 63. We'll take a break.
5:63. It feels so good to say this. New Zealand into the final 4 of the World Basketball Championships in Indianapolis. We will have that semi-final live on Sunday morning. We don't know the time yet, but the match will be live. Tab Baldwin is a dreamer, and the dream just keeps getting better and better. We've had people here pacing the floor. We've had people not wanting to move a muscle. It has been so tense. And joining us now live from our commentary position in Indianapolis is Mark Dickel. Mark, thanks so much for coming over and joining us. I know how tired you must be and the adrenaline must be pumping, but you must be over the moon.
Yeah, I just can't believe it, eh? It's just unbelievable. I mean, you get so caught up in the game, you really don't realize what happens until afterwards, and then you know, it's almost like too late to get excited. But no, it's just unbelievable.
Well, I'm sure you're going to get plenty excited over the next few hours as it all sinks in. It was unbelievably hard on the nerves.
Yeah, I mean, try playing, you know. If it's hard to watch, it's just as hard playing it, that's for sure. I mean, we knew what was at stake. I mean, we knew we had a chance to win, and we thought we could win. You know, we need to go out there and perform like that, and to do it, it's just unbelievable. I mean, Puerto Rico, they played great. We were just able to play a little bit better, and, you know, we're in the top 4 now.
Let's talk about then the way you did play, Mark, because it looked to us watching from back here that right the way through the game, you guys were running a controlled, organised game plan.
Well, yeah, I mean, you know, our game plan is up-tempo, but at the same time, we've got to take advantage of what, you know, we can take advantage of. And, you know, they did a good job of getting back, so therefore we just had to run our half-court offense and execute. And, you know, Phil Jones, Pero Cameron again, unbelievable. Ed Book, Dylan, Kirk, everybody, man, just came in, gave great effort. Paul Hanari off the bench. You know, Robert Hickey, unbelievable, man. It's just unbelievable.
Let's talk about Pero Cameron then and his performance coming down the straight there. How big were those 3-pointers and then the 2 just before the buzzer?
I mean, how many times is he going to do it for us? You know, I mean, he's just clutch. He's the epitome of clutch. He's the biggest winner I've ever been around, and, you know, he's just unbelievable. I mean, we all feed off him. He's a quiet leader. You know, I try and pick it up vocally, but, you know, he just goes out and leads by example, man. He's unbelievable, great guy, unbelievable player, and, you know, every time and again he does it down the clutch for us.
We've been admiring the way in which the Tall Blacks have been a puzzle to so many of the teams, and it looked to be that way again. It took Puerto Rico a long time to work out what you guys were on about.
Oh yeah, I mean, we play totally different stuff, and we play a totally different way to all the other teams here. I mean, we run the triangle. I mean, we look to push the ball. We play pressure defense, but at the same time, we mix our defense up, and I think that takes a lot of teams a long time to adjust. And if we're able to take advantage of that and get a little lead like we are, you know, we're able to come out and get wins. So it's just unbelievable. Unbelievable.
And now, Mark, you've got to calm right down again and start thinking about the semi-final, which will be Sunday morning our time. It's just so hard for you guys, I guess, to go up and down like this all the time.
I mean, you know, that's part of being a basketball player. You know, everybody on our team's a professional in one form or the other. So, I mean, we know how to get ourselves up for games. And, you know, Tab and Nenad and Murray McMahon just do such a great job of getting us ready to play games and giving us game plans with a chance to win that, you know, if we just go out there and play that way, we can win. And, you know, you've got to give them so much credit. And you've got to give credit to the players, too, that we're able to go out there and execute it.
Mark, just one last thing. You're getting so much support back here, and everybody's talking basketball, and that support's getting through to the team, is it?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, we're well aware that, you know, we're more than aware of all the emails and everything we're getting every day, and, you know, it's just unbelievable. I mean, all the support, we really know we're playing for more than just ourselves, and we're really representing New Zealand, and we couldn't be any prouder to represent our country.
Well, you've certainly played with pride and played with heart today, Mark, you and the whole team. It's just been fantastic to watch, a great game to enjoy from back here, and obviously for the fans in the stadium as well. But thanks very much for coming across to our commentary position and talking to us. We appreciate it very much.
Yeah, thank you very much. Thanks for all the support.
OK, Mark Dickel, part of this amazing Tall Blacks team that is now through to the Final Four. Let's relive again these final moments when New Zealand confirmed a place in the World Championship semi-finals.
Let's see what they do. The Puerto Ricans have to foul. Got it to Pero Cameron. They have to foul Big PC. They don't. It's all over, Bob. It's all over. We're in the top four. We go to the middle round. Give me 5. Oh, the Kiwi crowd are going mental over there. They're all loco. And look at it. They're into the crowd. Brendan Pongia. All the team have decided to go into the crowd. Look at them. Ed Book's in the crowd.
Well, this is one of the biggest moments in sporting history in New Zealand, sporting presence in New Zealand. The annals of New Zealand sport have a brand new chapter written in that book. The Tall Blacks are into the semi-finals of the World Championships against everybody's predictions.
Unbelievable.
Wasn't it just 65-63? And Bob Montai, our commentator, with about 8 minutes to go, was talking about Be Still My Beating Heart. It really was that kind of game. Now, I can tell you that in the other semi-final at the moment, Yugoslavia ahead of the USA, 77-76, with 20 seconds to go. But Chris Tupu, what about this game we've just seen? The Tall Blacks, the small team, did it again?